I am curious, though, as we move into the last section about what you think he's going to do, Arne Slot, against City. Because if we just have a quick look, why not, seeing as we have the time? We just have a look at the league table and we can see if we what we make of it. Because obviously we have a fortnight of international crack coming up, and you and I will probably do maybe only one show in that period of time. So it might be relevant to just have a quick talk about what's coming up. So we can all hopefully see the table there, and we can see the positions at the moment. And I mean, it's probably a little bit better, Jan, than we might have hoped for, or might have thought was going to be the case when things were really bleak there a couple of weeks ago. To be still sitting in third place, only a point behind City in second, still granted 7 points off Arsenal. I look at that now and I think, okay, if we have started to claw things back, well, 3 of those points, it's not really a 6-point swing, but 3 of those points that Arsenal have on us are in our hands because it's against them. And then it comes down to 2 more games where we have to get a result that's favourable and they don't. Could that happen over the course of what's left of the season? Absolutely. So it starts to leave you, I think, with a little bit of hope, where it was diminishing quick for a lot of people. Just in the overall picture of things, do you think it's realistic for us to be starting to think that we can possibly get it back on track in terms of the big prize rather than just staying in touch?
So what I struggled with a little bit, Trevor, is Arsenal having a dip like Liverpool. I'm not quite sure that's going to happen. So it's going to be a gradual pullback, where they might draw 1 and then we pull back 2 points or whatever. I don't think, because of the way they play. They play with very little risk, and there's certain things they're very good at. And one of them is their work without the ball, and they all can always pinch a few goals and set piece, whatever. So I'm not sure they're going to be able to experience the same dip as we've experienced with the 6 defeats in 7 games. So it might have to be more of a gradual thing where we can pull them back. The one thing that really is a big fear, Trevor, is for the game on Sunday finishing as a draw, because then Arsenal would be a big winner, wouldn't they? If they can win at Sunderland on Saturday, and then they could pull another 2 points further ahead of both Liverpool and Man City should the game finish as a draw, isn't it? But no, anything is possible. And I looked at Arsenal's fixtures, and you've got some tricky away games coming up: Aston Villa, Brighton, Bournemouth. They're difficult, tricky games, aren't they? So it is possible. They are looking very strong, looking very organised. It's not necessarily something you want to pay to watch, because it isn't necessarily great entertainment. But what have they played? 14, 15? Well, they won every game bar 2, haven't they? They drawn with City and they lost to Liverpool. They won all the other games, and the opposition don't get anywhere near their goals at the moment. So it is difficult. But a bit like Liverpool are winning games late, early in the season, they ain't going to last. We all knew that, didn't we? Wasn't going to last, Trevor. Arsenal not conceding goals isn't going to last either, is it? At some stage, they'll have to come back to normality. And normality is that you concede between 25 and 35 goals in a season, even if you win the league. So they'll also have to return to some kind of normality, isn't it? So, listen, I think this is going to be a bit like, you might need to win 7 games just for the 2-point game. That's the challenge, I think. Stick at it. Don't get frustrated. We ain't wiping this out in a week.
That's exactly right. It will be a painful clawback because, exactly like you said and highlighted brilliantly there, the way they play, it's risk averse. So we're not going to find them in a big slump anytime soon. People keep waiting for Arsenal to bottle it, as they have on previous occasions. But if we let that lead build up enough, they can bottle it all they want and still fall over the line. It can happen. So, as you say, we need to stay in touch. And part of that will be getting a win at the weekend, because like you say, a draw doesn't really do anything. I'm sensing, tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm sensing in you when you said the worst thing that could happen would be a draw, because that would leave Arsenal 2 points ahead, or 2 points further ahead of both of Liverpool and City. Am I feeling from you that the lesser of two evils would be City winning the league?
No, not necessarily. I don't. I mean, I can't make my mind up about City, Trevor. You know, I'm just not convinced it's great for Premier League. You know, when we saw the celebrations last year when Liverpool won the title, you know, I think that kind of celebration for a team winning the Premier League is good. So you would get that if Arsenal won the league. You know, you'd get that outpouring of we won the league. City win the league. You know, you kind of get, oh yeah, we won it again, yeah. I'm leaving now to Mr. Traffic, you know what I mean? I've seen that trophy. I've seen that trophy before. I can't be bothered, you know what I mean? So that really, things that really hurt me, Trevor, is that complacency of we won it again, you know what I mean? And I kind of hate that, you know what I mean? That outpouring, that Spurs game, Trevor, last year, you know, it was much more than when we eventually got the trophy. That Spurs game when we won 5-1 was just off the scale, you know what I mean? I kind of, you know, when did they last have that? City 2012 with the Aguero goal, probably. You know that. So it's you know. So I do like it. If you're going to win it, you know, I think you're entitled to give it some, you know, and at least celebrate it. You know, what I mean, treat it with the respect that bloody hell we won the Premier League. You know, what I mean, this is not something. This is not easy. You know what I mean? But so no, I mean the ideal and the perfect situation is the Liverpool winning, isn't it? And at the moment, we've certainly got a good chance as Manchester City.
Do you think there's a possibility, because I'm not really clear, to be honest, on what the contract situation is with Guardiola. And I don't know that it really matters anyway. We see that all the time. If a thing is over, it's over, and people tend to know that. Do you think it's possible that there might be a sort of a dulling of the edge on that guy? Because, like you just said, like you outlined, I mean, this consistent just win thing. I mean, it's wonderful, obviously, but it can take its toll. I mean, people are looking at Haaland and thinking, well, he might be the difference. He might keep them in touch, certainly, because people watch the performances this season and they don't think there's a whole lot extra that's brilliant to see there. And Haaland's goals certainly have made a huge difference. You combine that with the fact that maybe Guardiola isn't quite where he was in terms of his drive. I don't know. Is that wishful thinking, or can you see this marriage coming to an end in the near future?
I'm surprised he's still there. I'm surprised he's still there. I thought at some stage, you know, and whether the Holy Grail was winning the Champions League, and that might have been the cue for him to call it a day. So I'm surprised he's still there. And there is things. So you mentioned Erling Haaland and the amount of goals he scored at the moment. I believe it's 65% of all their Premier League goals, which is off to scale. But we've been there before. We've been here before with him scoring that many goals early on in the season. So as much as we spoke about Liverpool before and the late goals wasn't going to continue, Erling Haaland is not going to continue to score at this rate. I just refuse to believe that. The Premier League is too strong and too powerful. Teams will find a way of stopping him. And then, of course, for City to be back, I mean, we spoke before of Liverpool turning the corner, but for City to be back, that would mean one thing, Trevor. At the end of the season, they have to win either the Champions League or the Premier League. That's the only way you can call City being back, yeah. You know, and should Pep Guardiola, who openly himself admitted that football has changed and I need to change, should he then have a second season with no trophies? I don't know whether he might look at it all and go, I needed to change, but what I needed to change to, I don't enjoy it. You know, I don't enjoy the way that the game is and the way that the game is heading. So this is a time bomb, I think, Trevor. This is a time bomb. It all looks okay, doesn't it, on paper and when we see it, but I think it's a time bomb. I don't think there's many miles left in this relationship.
We could certainly help light that fuse with the win at the weekend. And I think, if I'm right in saying, Arsenal play Sunderland. I think they're at Sunderland at the weekend. They're going to be fully expected to pick up 3 points there. So again, to keep going with your point earlier on, we need to keep in touch here. And the best way we can do that is with 3 points, and just, even if it's just to keep the gap at 7. And this weekend, that looks like the height of our ambitions, if we're being perfectly honest. As you look at it, I presume we've kind of touched on the fact that you probably feel like he's going to roll with the same 11 that came out against Madrid. I don't see too many differences that he could go with unless it's to reintroduce Gakpo. And if he does that, it throws the whole balance off, doesn't it? Especially if Wirtz is going to be involved, which I feel he'll think he has to be. Do you see any surprises in the lineup for Sunday?
No, not really. I mean, it wouldn't make any sense. Listen, I can fully understand that if Aristotle is thinking, I need to put in Cody Gakpo to give us some blah, blah, whatever. But Florian Wirtz just has his best game for Liverpool. You know, and when do you deserve a recall? Well, surely it's after you've just played your best game. And it's not like you'll go with the same team again. Both, I mean, a draw is no good for either, is it? Really? Unless you're looking at a different picture and going, well, okay, we can't afford to get beat, and so we'll both take a draw. But in terms of the bigger picture, draw is no good for anybody. So let's hope that both teams give it what they've got in terms of trying to win the game. I know it's a tough week. They both played Champions League in the midweek, and I don't know what kind of fitness they're going to be heading towards after 75 minutes. But just hope that we're both going to give it a go. And the more open the game gets, I fancy us more in an open game than what I fancy Manchester City.
Well, I personally hope all of our lads go off to their national teams absolutely bollocks tired because they've left everything on the pitch on Sunday. And with that in mind, and I think we'll probably see a version of the level of performance that we saw on Tuesday. I think there's a sort of little bit of momentum there. With that in mind, last thing on every show is I ask you what you think is going to happen. We don't have 2 games to look forward to here, only one before the international break. So with this massive game ahead, I mean, we've talked around it, but how do you see it ultimately panning out?
Do you know what, Trev? I've thought about nothing else for the whole hour. The prediction. Well, you know, I mean, instantly you go, that's a draw, isn't it? It's written all over it. It's a draw. Yeah. But I don't want it to be a draw. So now I'm trying to find reasons for give a prediction. I don't think we ever predict that Liverpool are going to lose. I'm not going to predict we're going to lose on Sunday either. So we're going to go Manchester City 1, Liverpool 2.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I have to ask you, just before I let you go, I have to ask you, Villa, Real, what was in your head before those ones? In terms of
I was okay with the Villa game. I just thought that if our manager is who we think he is, he will deal with this right now against Aston Villa because we're a better team than Aston Villa and we're at home, so he'll deal with that. The Real Madrid one was a little bit more open because you get Kylian Mbappe on a day or you get Vinicius Junior or you could be in trouble, couldn't you? You could even play well against Real Madrid if they played well and get beaten. So I was a bit more unsure. But more or less, Real Madrid turned up like they normally turn up and didn't quite. So Villa was calm. Real Madrid was very 50-50. And I have to say, I'm very 50-50 in this one on Sundays. But I just think that, you know, there's only one way of attacking this now, isn't there? We need to win the game.
Hopefully that's the case. And Jan, I want to just say thanks for another show where we covered a whole lot within that hour. We give people value for their money every week that we do the show, and that's all down to your contribution. So once again, sir, thank you very much.
Wonderful, Trevor. I've enjoyed it, and let's get back into the rhythm of doing this at least once a week.
Yes, indeed. We'll try and do that for you next week. You know this lad, though, international breaks, he likes a holiday. So we'll see how it goes. We will definitely try to do one between now and Liverpool's next game. And hopefully we'll be returning talking about how City won. From me, from Jan. Until then, good luck.